As is customary at our AGM, I'd like to share with you my views on a subject that I believe is most relevant in the current environment for your company. I've chosen the topic, Developing Human Capital for a Growing India. And the same is available at the website of the company and on the website of NSDL. I will now read excerpts from this. India took 60 years since independence to become a $1 trillion USD economy. The next trillion came in 7 years and the final trillion in 5 years. India has set itself an ambition to become a middle-income company, growing its economy to US dollars 10 trillion and grabbing the slot of the third largest economy by 2030. This ambitious goal will require the nation to step up its growth rate from a historical average of around 7% CAGR to over 8%. While not easy, it is much needed and certainly possible. Several factors will help us along in this journey. First, we have momentum on our side. A growth rate well ahead of the largest economies, US and UK at 2%, Japan at 1%, and almost on par with China at around 7%. Second, investments made over the last decade have created the foundations of what is already among the best digital public infrastructures in the world. Third, there is an opportunity to significantly step up women participation in the workforce. And finally, I truly believe that it is a growing working age population that could prove to be our greatest asset. With thoughtful nurturing and development, this can be the unlock and towards incredible rewards for India and Indians. It is our demographic dividend, the human capital above all capital. So what is demographic dividend? It is a moment in time when dependency rates, which is children and older adults, are low, which translates into more people being able to participate in the workforce and consequently higher GDP and growing individual wealth. India, with a median age of 28 years and with over 65% of its population in the working age, is already younger than countries such as the US, UK, China, and Japan. By 2030, India's share of working age population will rise to be almost 69%. Of course, falling birth rates and increasing life expectancy will mean that India too will start aging, and hence we need to capitalize on this window of opportunity. Over the last 10 years, India's GDP growth has primarily been productivity-led. The further step up must come from higher job creation. This is not easy and will require concerted and systemic action with particular focus on sectors that have a high employment elasticity. For example, the MSME sectors needs to play a bigger role. The share of employment generated by MSMEs in the more developed countries is over 60%, while in India it's only about 45%. We will need to tap the potential of such sectors to deliver on a vision of a more prosperous India. Now, in parallel to creating jobs to absorb the growing population in the working age, we need to ensure that our working age population is employable. To do this, we need to focus on 4 key areas. First, build a strong foundation in primary education. Second, provide access to vocational skill building. Third, make continuous efforts in reskilling and upskilling the existing workforce. And finally, retain the skilled talent in the economy. Let's talk about the foundation that our students in our schools get across India. Across a study, almost 70% of children in grade 3 in India have no basic reading and arithmetic skills. There is clearly a burning need to correct this situation. While we correct and strengthen primary education, a significant gap remains when it comes to school-to-work transition. In India, there is a disparity between enrolling for higher education and that for vocational training. Now, this could be attributed to the nation's cultural mindset and societal standards on employment in skilled vocation. For a nation to progress, this mindset will need to change, and we must understand that the role that skilled vocational work can play in lifting the economy is significant. At the same time, given the unprecedented pace of change, we need to focus on continuous upgradation of skills in the existing workforce. And lastly, there's clearly a need to make India the country of choice for highly skilled talent to ensure that the best talent does not end up leaving the nation. Now, the government alone cannot address these challenges. A close public-private partnership can change the entire ecosystem by uplifting the skills and capabilities of the nation on a scale that is required for our growth ambition. At Hindustan Unilever, we have always believed that we are a microcosm of the nation, and that our small steps in building human capital will one day make a big difference through the trickle-down effect impacting our suppliers, our partners, and the larger ecosystem. We recognized early on that India is brimming with talent and started a management development program as early as the 1940s. Over the years, we've remained committed to building a future-ready talent pool, and just in the last year, we've invested over 100,000 hours on training and upskilling interventions across our offices, factories, and our sales force. To upskill our frontline sales teams on data-driven decision-making and understanding omni-channel engagement, we've collaborated with external learning partners. For our shop floor employees, we have an ambition to see that over 50% of them are skilled in automation and machine learning over the next 2 to 3 years. We are taking small but meaningful steps towards ensuring skilling and generating livelihoods within our value chain and the communities in which we operate. Through our Prabhat program, a sustainable community development, we have touched the lives of nearly 10 million people in the communities around our factories and our depot locations. Through 18 livelihood centers, we've trained over 100,000 women and youth in vocational skills and entrepreneurship development. Additionally, in our drive for a more socially inclusive growth, last year we carried out a supplier diversity initiative that helped accelerate and scale businesses owned by minority and underrepresented groups. Embracing diversity is in fact deeply entrenched in the company's culture. Launched at the dawn of the new millennium, Project Shakti aimed to enhance livelihoods and uplift rural Indian women. The company trained women in deep rural India to become micro-entrepreneurs and sell our products. With the launch of Shakti, we witnessed a complete reversal in the social order in these villages. More recently, we witnessed a similar episode play out in the community around a new manufacturing unit in Sumerpur. Aiming to create a gender-balanced site, we took significant efforts in creating a safe space for women workers on the shop floor. Today, women make up 40% of our workforce in that unit. Now, this has had a ripple effect in the community. There has been a 55% increase in women cumulatively enrolling for technical programs and higher studies in schools, colleges, and ITIs in and around Sumerpur. In fact, over the years through our value chain, we've been persevering to drive a cultural change and embrace equity and inclusion to create a truly future-fit workplace. People are increasingly looking for more personally and professionally satisfying work. They want to move beyond the traditional employment contract to something which is more flexible. And keeping this in mind, we've launched UWork, a program that gives employees the freedom and flexibility associated with contract roles, along with the security and benefits typically linked to regular employment. Our other programs, Open to You, offers part-time gig work the HUL way, with the flexibility to define the work schedule on the applicant's term, the security of a structured compensation, and the benefits as well as the opportunity to work on high-impact projects. Finally, while the emphasis in business has always been on telling people what to do, at HUL we've always believed that it is also about people understanding what not to do. The culture of integrity and ethics has been embedded in the company since its very inception. To conclude, I'd like to say that the strength of a nation lies in the homes of its people. This quote by Abraham Lincoln aptly highlights the importance of holistic human development in the country's growth journey. India is well poised to leapfrog into the future and become one of the world's leading economies. Armed with technological prowess, innovative acumen, increasing affluence, and a growth-centric set of policies, the country is often referred to as the new land of opportunities. To leverage these opportunities India has to offer and realize the nation's growth potential, we will need single-minded focus on building human capital. We will need to ensure that we create meaningful employment and livelihood opportunities for the millions entering the workforce every year. We have to ensure that we not only progress on the economic front, but also on the social indices. We have to create an India where every child receives the education that they deserve and a chance of creating the livelihood that they dream of. We have to, together, build an India that we can all be proud of. And we have to do it now. Thank you.